Welcome to DR TSPR show. This is Dr. Tangella Shiva Prasad Reddy alias Dr. TSPR. Namaste, Adab, hello and a warm welcome to Dr. Shubhash Goyal ji. Sir ji, namaskar.
Namaskar. No.
Because Shubhash Goyal ji is on a very important topic. I have been receiving many calls, many SMSs whenever I travel. How is that you only travel? How is that we are not being able to? But let me remind you, even my travel was very difficult, spending fortune. Dr. Shubhash Goyal ji, first brief, is an author of book entitled Poverty Eradication and Economic Development Through Tourism, which has won him wide recognition and acclaim. From here I will start, because he is out to eradicate poverty through his known source of vibrant field called tourism, travel and tourism. Yes, we have religious tourism, we say pilgrimage, and we say fun and frolic, and then some go on student, education tourism, so and so forth worldwide, in India and worldwide. Because he is also a member of National Tourism Advisory Council, Ministry of Tourism, Government of India, is the founder chairman of STIC Travel and Air Charter Group, one of India's biggest B2B travel group. And it has got some world best brands like United Airlines, Ethiopian Airlines, Air China, Sri Lankan Airlines, Ukraine, Jordanian, Nordwit, European River Cruise, and everything you say from earth to the sky, land to the sky. And Dr. Goyal is the outgoing Honorary Secretary of Federation of Associations in Indian Tourism and Hospitality, FAITH, formed of 10 national associations. He has been the chairman of India Tourism Mart 2019, 20 and 21. Former chairman of Tourism and Services Sector of Federation of Indian Export Organization set up by Commerce Ministry of Indian Government, and president of the Confederation of Tourism Professionals, and the past president of Indian Association of Tourist Operators, which we are all famous with, IATO. And Dr. Goyal is the chairman of the Aviation and Tourism Expert Committee of the Indian Chamber of Commerce. He has also been the chairman of the Tourism and Hospitality Council of ASSOCHAM, the Associated Chambers of Commerce and Industry of India. And here is an interesting aspect. This is what I wanted to stress more, because technically everyone wants to be one above the other, the Messiah. And because we say that technology should suit the common man at any given particular time. So he has done some wonderful job here. Dr. Goyal have been actively lobbying for opening the skies. This is what we have all been fighting, but opening the skies to eradicate poverty, to see that every citizen has a right to fly. No hidden agenda. Open the skies, and for e-visa. This is what I'm telling you. When you have the technology on hand, why the hell you need run here and there again, get into those stressful modes, taxing everyone, your own self, the environment, and the authorities alike. E-visa. It is because of his lobbying efforts through the associations he has been representing that e-visa was finally introduced in India, and he had the honor to announce it along with the Honorable Home Minister and Tourism Minister. He has also been on the advisory board of several government bodies and contributes frequently to national dailies like Hindustan Times, Economic Times, and trade magazines on tourism, and so on and so forth. Mr. Goyal is a well-known TV personality, frequently appearing on ABP News, Z News, STIC, CNBC, CNN, IBN, NDTV, DD News for interviews and discussions, and now he starts on DR TSPR channels. Viewers, it is our honor to say once again, namaskar to him.
Sir, namaskar. Thank you much. Thank you very much for having me in the channel. See, most important thing is, in this country is how to eradicate poverty and how to look after the poorest of the poor. Yeah. That is what the freedom fighters of a country like Bhagat Singh, Subhash Chandra Bose all dreamt about. Yeah. So how do we do that? Not by just giving lip service. We need, today, earlier agriculture was the labor intensive industry, and now agriculture has been mechanized, and with harvester combines and computers doing everything. So there are no jobs left in the agricultural field. Similarly, with artificial intelligence and computers coming in the industry, there are no jobs left in the industry. So tourism is one industry which is labor intensive, because when the tourist comes, he needs people at immigration counters, he needs custom officers, security officers, he needs someone to take the people on taxis, and then when they come to the hotel, they need bellboys, they need receptionists, they need someone to supply vegetables, someone to supply food, someone to look after the air conditioning of the hotel, and they need transporters, souvenir shops. And so tourism has a multiplier effect on the economy. And India, which is the greatest show on planet Earth, with 7,500 kilometers of beautiful coastline, with the world's 74% of the world's highest Himalayan mountains, and beautiful mangrove forests, you see, and about 40 World Heritage Sites. It is really, a paradise of wonder of wonders. And it is really a shame that we are not on top of the world as far as inbound tourism is concerned. Our inbound tourism was the highest in 2019, when it was, about 11 to 12 million tourists who came into the country, but our outbound was 25 million. So whatever we are earning goes out. And secondly, even in 2019, when we earned $30 billion in foreign exchange, the airfares were very low. You see, we could send a person to New York, Toronto for about 60 to $70,000 was an excursion round trip fare. Today, a one-way fare is 1,50,000. So these fares have become prohibitive, because after COVID-19, all the airlines have not started flying back, or they have started but not with the full number of aircraft. For example, after the Ukraine war, a lot of airlines like United Airlines, who were operating 5 flights a day, is only operating 1 flight a day. Similarly, a lot of airlines which were overflying the Russian and Ukrainian airspace have cut down on their flights. The result is, I'm very happy that, you see, one thing this government good has done is that they have nationalized Air India, and today Air India is in the hands of one of the most professional companies in the country, which is Tata's, who were the original owners of Air India. And they have ordered 427 planes. And if you include the other planes that have been ordered, we'll have 1,100 planes are on order from various Indian carriers. And soon we will have about 2,200 planes operating in India in the next 3 years. Not only this, about 20,000 crores investment is being made by Airbus and Boeing in Gujarat, where Tatas are going to be investing also jointly with them. And a lot of parts of these aircraft will be made in India in the vision of our Honorable Prime Minister and Made in India program. But whatever the vision of the Prime Minister is, I think down the line, people are not able to follow, his ideas and vision. Wherever he goes, he talks about tourism. In the first speech from the Red Fort, he talked about tourism. So, and he is telling everyone, whenever he goes abroad, that every Indian person of Indian origin should bring back 2 natives, not of Indian origin, but the original natives of that country. Now, if the 20 million people who are abroad, if they all bring in 2 more people, then we will have 50 to 60 million tourists, and our entire 5-year plan and our entire, our deficit, foreign exchange deficit will be covered, and more than 100 million jobs will be created. But somehow the right hand is not able to do what the left hand wants. Now, you see, Air India is trying to, get planes, very good, other airline, but to get these planes, it will take 3 to 4 years. The tourism industry, which has suffered from COVID very badly, needs to bounce back. People are traveling with revenge right now. And this is the time when we need a lot of airlines and a lot of aircraft. You see, our Civil Aviation Ministry uh, is not allowing foreign airlines to increase their flights and to have more flights into India. I do understand that those airlines which already have are over serving India, okay, but the other airlines which want to come from Latin America or from Africa or from countries where Air India is not flying or Indian carriers are not flying, we should immediately allow those airlines to come in, because it is all a game of demand and supply. If the supply side increases and more airlines come, in order to keep the route viable, they will advertise and market India. Not only this, see, airfares will come down, and the common man will be able to travel. You see, right now, our prime minister wants the commoner man, the poor man, also to be able to travel. He wants to enable, the farmer
Yeah.
or the middle class and SME industry people to travel. Now, that can only take place once, we open the skies. And like I fought for e-visa, I'm now fighting for opening the skies so that more and more airlines come in and airfares come down. Once this happens, then people will be able to see dying relatives. Middle class people will be able to travel. People who are in the working class, like junior doctors, like junior scientists, or even army junior officers, they will be able to afford travel. And travel is the best means of education, and it has to be both ways. And therefore, outbound travel is a must. And the 20% TCS, which the government is trying to impose on outbound travel, is they are killing the geese that will lay golden eggs, because this will result in a lot of unscrupulous things happening, like the Hawala system being restarted. So they should not tax this industry and kill the geese that lays golden eggs. Tax on the tourism industry should not be more than 5%, whether it is TCS, whether it's GST, or any other tax. So this is very, very important. Thank you very much for having me on the channel. Thank you very much.
Now,
And
Dr. Goyalji, now you have got some questions. Now I'm showing what Prime Minister had to say on. He says very clearly. I have just come back with other mode of arrangements, as my WhatsApp doesn't. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas, Sabka Prayas. Now this is the slogan on which he is going. Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Now, straightforward question to you. Land to sky belongs to every citizen, because every citizen is the owner of natural resources in India. We have submitted constitution to ourselves. So when such is the case, right from airports to the aircraft which fly in the sky, they belong to every citizen. And the fuel which you are trying to get, the natural fuel in India, natural resource, or the natural resource which is being bought from the public taxes, it is all public money. When such is the case, Mr. Goyal, how is that only those in the higher strata are able to enjoy these facilities which belong to every citizen?
Mr. Reddy, this is very unfortunate. And I have been saying this, that, we must fix an upper limit for international carriers and domestic carriers. We did some stealing during the COVID period. The Ministry of Civil Aviation listened to us, but now they have made it open for all. Now, if you are making it open for all, then, you should allow taxi drivers who operate, from the airport. You have a fixed rate for them. They should allow to loot the public. Or a poor man whose mother is suffering from cancer, if he buys a 100 rupee ticket and tries to sell it for 200 rupees of a film that is very popular, then the policeman catches him that you're doing black. Now, the big people, they can charge any amount of money from the poor people on air tickets. This is not fair. Either you try to fix the taxi drivers' payments from the airport because you don't want to flee the tourist, then why are you trying to fleece the Indian traveling public? So I think the upper limit for example, the direct operating cost between Delhi to Mumbai, if it is 4,000 rupees, you fix an upper limit of 8,000 rupees, double that amount, or maximum 10,000 rupees. You can't be charging 20,000 rupees or 30,000 rupees for a direct operating cost of an airline, which is DOC, which is 4,000 rupees. Similarly, Delhi, London, Delhi, New York, these upper limits of these airfares or Toronto should be fixed so that the common man is able to travel. So I think this is very, very important. And I agree with you that Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas is, we have one of the greatest prime ministers in our country. And we are proud that he's now the president of G20 and he's a world leader. But somewhere down the line, his bureaucrats and his other ministries are not in tune with this vision. And they are trying to, put spokes on the vision of our prime minister. And that is very unfortunate.
He has to take, see, when he is not able to deliver, see, with due respects to our honorable prime minister, when his vision is good, but if it is not translating, 2014 to 19, it is over. 19 to again 23. If he still says it is not translating, whose failure is that? He has to accept the failure of his combined failure of his ministers. क्योंकि ये सब हर एक नागरिक का हक है ना sir. See, when I want to fight Madras from Hyderabad, or now I am in Kerala doing the show from Cochin to Madras. How much distance is it? 450 to 500 kilometers hardly. And from Cochin is very, but in emergency, as you said, health emergency or anything, why should I pay 10,000, 20,000? What is that nonsense? And here also, one example here, Mocha grant site clearance for Kottayam Shabarimala. I am ardent devotee and now I am doing this live show very nearer to Shabarimala. And they are going to grant 2,250 acres of land. A new airport will be built. We welcome it. But you are taking so much of land which belongs to the people, citizens. Now, don't you think when they charge after the international airport comes into place, don't you think they should not be charging more for the pilgrimage, for the Ayyappa Bhakts, or for the ordinary travelers? They should not charge because they are taking public land. And the sky also belongs to public. I'm giving an example here.
No, I agree with your example and I agree with your thoughts. But I don't agree that, Prime Minister has done what this Prime Minister has done. No one in the last 75 years were able to do. As far as, the image of India is concerned, as far as our defense resources are concerned, today, we are building, 9.5 kilometers of rail network every day. Not only that, from 80 airports in 2010, we'll be having over 210 airports. So out of which 51 airports will be international airports. So all this is happening. And like e-visa, president of the Indian tour operators, for 20 years, I was trying with the previous government to have e-visa on arrival. It did not happen. But as soon as this government came, they gave e-visa, and today e-visa is a game changer. More than 1 million people are coming to India on e-visa. And corruption, which was there earlier in our embassies and other places, and touts were going around Indian embassies, that has finished. So, it is very unfortunate that, the people who are responsible for translating the Prime Minister's vision, the Ministry of Civil Aviation and the Ministry of Tourism, they have to take the blame, because the Prime Minister cannot see everything. He cannot micromanage the country. So his vision is there. He is giving the vision, giving the direction. But I think down the line, the bureaucracy needs to take the blame. And we appeal to the Prime Minister that he should pull up the bureaucrats who are trying to, sabotage his vision. You see, so, I hope that, more flights will come in. I'm happy that Air India has bought so many planes, but it will take 3 to 4 years. Now, we cannot allow tourism in this country to suffer in 3 to 4 years. So,
because I beg to differ that Prime Minister, because here we are not against any individual or any organization or any party. Whoever does good for the country, we salute them. We say you are great because you are elected by people. and you are answerable to people. You are a public servant. And there is no question of
Although
personalizing an agenda. But one aspect here, what really interests me, as you rightly said, Prime Minister has got a vision. But he
a
has
lot
got his
of
own
other,
minister also. Sindhya also, he's got his own chosen minister. But why things are
I,
not translating?
no, it is very unfortunate, and that is why public opinion is needed in a democracy. And that is why, through your channel and other channels, I am raising this voice so that Mr. Sindhia is also a very efficient and a very educated, Harvard educated minister. He's young and very dynamic. But somehow down the line, I think the bureaucrats are not keeping, are not able to translate the vision of the Prime Minister, unable to brief the various ministers in tourism and the civil aviation ministry, so that uh, because tourism is one industry, because the more the tourists come, the more the airports will flourish, and it will have a multiplier effect and a chain reaction on the economy, and about 100 million jobs can be created by
Can be
opening the
created.
skies.
There is no doubt, sir. I appreciate with you. At the same time, the environment is
Just
a
like
major factor there. And one aspect, Subhash ji, because of your enormous experience, now you have made some points. E-visas, how to root out corruption, and how can we increase the competitiveness amongst the airfares instead of having more airlines coming to Kochi for Shabarimala season. They have restricted, and there is mutual understanding between Indigo, AirAsia, SpiceJet, and Air India. We don't know when it flies and when it does not. And there is another, what is that, Go or something, which always cancels the flight. And how is that the prices have not become competitive? Before I used to get 1,000, and Udaan, I'll tell you, Prime Minister's Udaan is a big failure. I've written to him. Whenever I try to book, I never get a good price. And not only that, when after booking, automatically my seat should be assured. What is this nonsense? When you book a ticket, they'll ask you to go and select the seat. How am I going to fly? Is it not on the seat? By seating, am I not going to fly? When I'm booking it in economy, if I book in advance, I should get that privilege to have that seat. But they say select your seat 250, 350. What is this nonsense? I have written to PM. I've got even Supreme Court involved, civil aviation minister, even president. Unfortunately, till this day, they have not resolved. I asked them, how are you fixing the price? When land belongs to me, sky belongs to me, the fuel belongs to me. And how is that? I am discriminated, Mr. Prime Minister. No answer. Then, how is that after I book, you are asking me what it takes me to seat and then additional for food and all. It is understood if I am booking a ticket, I am there in the aircraft sitting and enjoying your privileges. They are my privileges. But all these privileges, they are gone to the airlines. The third aspect, you insure additionally. What does this ticket give then? Such a big conspiracy. I have written to Prime Minister, this ticket should include my insurance. Then what for this ticket is? Why is you have separated
No,
this?
I think we have to keep pressurizing the government. No, you see, I cannot reply on behalf of the PMO or behalf of anyone. I can only say that we, in a democratic country, we need public opinion is very important, and we need to pressurize the government that whatever the civil, for example, a lot of things Mr. Sindhia has done as far as cargo is concerned, and opening the airports and privatization of Air India was itself a very big Herculean task, which we were trying to do for the last 20 years and nothing was happening. So I think a lot of good things are happening, but Rome was not built in a day. So it takes time. I think rather than just criticizing everything, we must have a very constructive criticism, whereby we appreciate the good things that are happening, and we keep pressurizing the government on something which can further be improved. Now, I have been in this industry for more than 45, 50 years, and I know that only when this government came, I was able to get e-visa. And it took me 5 minutes to convince the then late finance minister, Mr. Arun Jaitley, to announce it in his budget. And he did so. So what I'm saying is that it's not that, uh, things that which were not done for 47 years or for more than 50, 60 years,
But here, I beg to
one
differ.
by
You
one,
want to say, yeah, please go ahead. Go ahead. Please complete. Yeah, please. Go ahead, sir.
we must criticize everything. We must appreciate the good things that have happened. And at the same time, how we can make it better is what I think constructive journalism is all about. And I believe in constructive criticism. I'm very happy the way, the more and more planes are being bought and more airports are being made. This was there in my book on poverty eradication through tourism. And I was for merger of Air India and Indian Airlines. That has happened. And I was for opening the sky. Unfortunately, the sky has not fully opened as far as ASEAN countries and SAARC countries is concerned. Yes, we have a very liberal open sky. With USA also, we have an open sky. But I think we need to have an open sky with Africa and Latin America, because these are two continents where we have no flight connections, where we don't have any direct flight connections. And once we are able to open the skies for Africa and Latin America, I think we'll have enough aircraft and airfares will go down. And we will be able to afford.
Domestically, how the airfares will come down? What should be done?
Typically now, a airline is coming, and government has given license to a few other airlines which are in the pipeline. I think this is a very unfortunate period that we were 3 years behind because of COVID, and now we are trying to catch up. And I'm sure once all these things happen, airfares will definitely come down, and we will have realistic airfares. But I appeal through your channel and to other channels also, to the Honorable Civil Aviation Minister, do a capping of both international and domestic fares, so that the airlines are not able to do black of airline tickets.
Wonderful.
I understand that they have suffered during COVID. Even the poor taxi driver has suffered. Even the poor tour operator has suffered. The tourist guide. A lot of people, even some people committed suicide.
Yes.
There were no jobs left. And if it was not for the gurdwaras, a lot of people would have died of hunger. So, I mean, so I want that if we cannot get it done in this government, we'll never be able to get it done. Because now Air India is privatized, and we are hopeful that Air India will be able to play a pivotal role. But at the same time, you cannot, restrict the international skies so that other airlines cannot come in and only Air India. Then similarly, if all the countries start restricting, their skies so that only their national carriers can come in, then, there will be no international aviation. So we must allow other carriers to come in. Like today, you say Emirates and Singapore. Today, they have open skies and anyone can come in. And look, their airlines are progressing, their airports are progressing. And if they leave it only on the local, traffic, then they can't even operate 10 flights a day. They are operating more than 100 flights a day. So what I'm saying is that in an open economy, an open sky is very, very important. And this our economists must understand, and they must explain it. The advisors in the PMO, the economic advisors in the PMO must explain it to the people who are looking after civil aviation in the PMO, that an open sky will have a multiplier effect on tourism growth, economic development, job creation, and poverty eradication. That has been the thesis of my book, on which I got a doctorate from Netherlands, that we can eradicate poverty from this country. Now, we may have a good GDP, we may beat UK, we may beat America, but if the poor man remains poor and he still has to, starve, then, then our job is not done. But tourism is one industry which can help the poorest of the poor, whether it is the houseboat owner in Kashmir, or it is the houseboat owner in, Kerala, or it is the pony driver in Leh, or the pony driver in, Sikkim. You see, the poorest, the coolie who carries the load, all these people, the rickshaw driver, the taxi driver, the tourist guides, the local guides, the monument guides, they all prosper when tourism comes. And if we look at aviation only for the airline owners and shareholders to prosper, then I think it is a short-sighted policy.
Wonderful, wonderful. Before I wind up, why do you say privatization is more important? But why not we say public sector unit like Air India, you be there on one side. Similar Air India, why not Tata's create? Don't you think that should be the meaningful way of looking at the things instead of taking over one public sector unit which comes with all natural resources and human resources at one go?
I beg to disagree with you. You see, what had happened is when we got freedom and we had this socialist type of government, then if I am a member of, I'm an agricultural minister, and if someone comes from my constituency for a job, I will tell him to keep him in the food corporation. So a lot of our public sector undertakings are overstaffed. If they need 100 people, they have 500 people working there. Now you cannot throw them out. So the best way is, an efficient way is to privatize them. And, I mean, today, even in China and even in Russia, right, which are communist countries, today in the services sector and many other sectors, there are private enterprise there, right? The government can control as far as the defense and the overall, policies are concerned. Business has to be left in the hands of businessmen, right? The government should provide the infrastructure. Their job is to provide roads and rail and airports, which I think the present Modi government is doing a fantastic job.
Here,
at the speed at which they are
only with one, as you right said, open skies, more and more players will definitely revive the fares and give efficiency and then more number of jobs. That I agree. Wonderful. That is one aspect. But in privatizing a public sector unit, accountability and transparency is lost. I'll give you one example. Indigo.
Sir, no, sir.
Not yet compensated me. And it has not yet compensated me when I complained to the government through proper sources in a following proper channel. Government could not do anything, whether it's civil aviation sector or ministry or for the PMO's office, for the simple reason that all these corporates, they fund the political parties. Now the funding of political parties, electoral bonds have become opaque. Now I cannot source any information. I don't know Mr. Modi why he has done that. So when such is the case, government is not able to come to the rescue of a citizen who owns everything. The land to the sky. When injustice is done, where should I go? This would have been possible in public sector unit, not in private. This one aspect, if they can properly address, believe me, as you rightly said, like e-visa, open skies will be a big boon for the citizens.
I have seen a lot of public sector undertakings where a lot of corruption has crept in and they are running on huge losses. When you are talking about the taxpayers' money, right, the public sector undertakings are also being run on the taxpayers' money. Yes. Except one or two big corporations like the ONGC or one or two other big corporations who are making huge profits. Government is not nationalizing them. Government is nationalizing only those public sector undertakings which are, becoming like a cancer, a parasite on the economy. And if we don't privatize them, like a lot of ITTC hotels had to be privatized. Because how long can the government keep funding Air India, and how long the government can be funding, these hotels?
I'll ask because one thing, because of your enormous experience, I've asked. Yes, because of cancer-like growth, corruption, they need to be privatized. But what when this cancer and corruption extends into private?
No, see,
How do we control them?
No, there are a lot of checks and balances. There is a, they have to pay their taxes. Otherwise, the income tax department is there. Otherwise, the courts are there. And whatever
Services,
you may say.
I'm asking you the services because they're all directly linked with the services of common man. Because common man's resources are being used on a platter. You are giving to them. Yeah, last 2 minutes.
Private,
wind up. Yeah.
On a private sector, everything is very competitive, and it is the survival of the fittest. If they are not competitive, and if they don't listen to complaints, then they will not survive. I think in my company, we have offices all over India. We are representing STIC Travel represents about 12 international airlines, 4 cruise companies. But I, as chairman, look after only complaints. If a complaint comes, I must ensure that it is redressed. Firstly, we must try to see that there are no complaints.
Wonderful.
And we are very happy that in the whole year, we'll get 1 or 2 complaints only. And that also not because of our negligence, because of the negligence of the airlines or something else has happened. But I must tell you that in the private sector, if tomorrow any multinational, it is discovered that any food industry, that their ingredients are causing cancer or anything, they will come down immediately. Right. You see, so we have to remain honest in the private sector. We have to remain competitive. Otherwise, there is a consumer court, and every consumer has a right to take any private enterprise or even a public enterprise in the consumer court. And whatever you may say, our judiciary is still very independent. Right. No one should be able to question our judiciary and our armed forces. Right. And our armed forces, I salute them. Right. Today, if India, whatever India is, it's because of our armed forces. Right. And one of the reasons I hire Modi is he's doing a lot for the armed forces and for our defense system.
Thank you very much.
That is why we are proud.
Right. Thank you very much. This is with Shubhash Goyal ji. I'll keep asking him, request him to come on the channel once again. Don't forget, all resources from land to sky belong to every citizen. As he rightly said, e-visa, open skies, and even the private entrepreneurs can be monitored. And he clearly stated that the complaints have to be addressed. Otherwise, they will lose the competitive spirit. And there are ways and means of addressing through consumer courts or normal courts everywhere. I only sincerely hope all these airlines will understand that resources belong to every citizen. There should not be any discrimination in the fare or services or otherwise. If they do, as is being done with Udan, they have to be made responsible. And I only hope the Civil Aviation Ministry and the Civil Aviation Department too, and Director, we say Civil Aviation, will come to the rescue of every citizen. Thank you very much, sir. Take care. Good night. And do support DRTSPR channels, Citizen DRTSPR channel, and Environment People DRTSPR channels in larger publications. Thank you very much. Good night, sir.
Good night. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind. Jai Hind. Jai Hind.